Welcome to Crazy Clowns. Now, before the Raven gets into this room and ruins the vibe, I'm just gonna enjoy myself as I explain that we are doing another horror movie character tier list. We thought we did a part 3. And I don't have the Raven here to double check, but we thought we did part 3. Apparently not. So, we are finally doing a part 3. Check out the other ones. We have a playlist of all the little tier list. So yeah, see why we rank through them, and we basically rank on how screwed we would be facing off against one of these people in their movies, or just their power in general. Similar things like Carrie should be higher if you think some, and we have reasons for everything. Some people say, "Oh, Carrie is the Raven." Hi, Raven. Totally didn't start the video without you. Tim Curry's Pennywise, not including anything in the new movies. Just Tim Curry's, not the book either. Just Tim Curry's. Now it's pretty strong. I think it kind of might fall into the same problems with Jeepers Creepers, the Creeper, where there's a time length. There's a certain kind of target, like usually Pennywise goes after children, though has gone after adults. And with that, children beat him. So it's one of those things where I think the plot of the movie unfortunately hurts him, though he is definitely up there with being one of the strongest.
He has a lot of power and a lot of abilities, and he has a semi-added advantage, depending on how you look at it, as maybe you're not going to think he's real force, and he has the advantage of no one's going to believe you. Like, he is not real, no one else sees him, only you do.
And got a bit of that camouflage sort of thing, can hide kind of in plain sight and do different things like blood from the sink, a clown, so he has a advantage. I just think he's strong, but he has that problem where he can't always go after you. You know what I mean? He can only go at that certain time. And his weakness is not being scared of him. Which a lot of people don't actually have a set in stone weakness as he does.
Well, yet to also, as I think we might point out in the previous list, you have to figure out his weakness, so that may be advantage for him.
So listen, we usually take so long with these lists. We're not gonna try to take forever. We all know that if you guys just will pick on who you like the most, and you won't agree with us no matter what. Pennywise is strong. I think should definitely at least be a B tier. I think he is stronger than the Creeper and Jaws, though. So I think he either is high B or an A tier.
I'm gonna go with A tier, to be honest.
Okay, Pennywise into the A tier. Next character, Chucky. Chucky, another one of your favorites.
Only accounting in the original once again.
Yes, not the reboot. So I think Chucky has a few advantages. Can hide in plain sight, as a toy. You don't always see it coming. Though, that shortness type of thing, that really puts him at a disadvantage, as we've seen commonly. Also, with being the material of a toy, makes it easier sometimes for him to be defeated.
But it also gives him an advantage at times, like cut off a limb, where he would just tape a knife to his arm. He's gonna be a little ruthless. A lot of these people, they have their own motives and stuff, and he definitely has a few main goals, but he at times is very ruthless, and he's going to have fun while doing it, so that may slow him down, but he is pretty straightforward at times, I would say.
Yeah, he's not Jason where he's gonna be, just go cut you off. He's definitely more aggressive about it and may like claw at you, jump at you. Though I would kind of say that a little bit of like that that kind of I don't know how to say it, but that uncalculated rage is something I've seen in things where it's not always the best on your advantage because you're just jumping at people. You're not really thinking it through sort of thing, kind of just going for it, and that usually causes him to make a mistake, which every movie he kind of defeats himself, if not being defeated just by again a kid.
He has though been pretty calculated in a few of his kills, and he is pretty resourceful, I would say. But his height does give him a massive disadvantage, though he's a doll, so you may not expect him coming.
I would have to say though, it's a Chucky doll. No, I would also say that a lot of people wouldn't buy that doll, so he would have to go to you. You know what I mean? Like, I would say it was a different if he, like, he can kill so many kids if he was like one of those LOL surprise things. So, um, I think Chucky's honestly at a very strong disadvantage with the rage, and just kind of just going for it. But by the way, before I forget, I made this tier list myself, and I'll link it in the description below. But I think C, honestly.
I'm fine with C. He does have a few disadvantages.
And honestly, he does a lot of his movies end up being comedy, so he kind of gets defeated in funny to dumb ways. So he looks the fool in a lot of movies. But next character, Leatherface.
He's kind of at times more of a minion, and he's pretty strong though, and he does have a lot of advantages with that. And he also, of course, has a chainsaw, which can be at times an advantage because it's pretty strong. But you also have to like swing around a fucking chainsaw, which is not always the easiest thing to do.
Yeah, he's not really like doing picture perfect shots, usually missing and stuff. Again, aggressing is another problem I would say that runs into him as well. And you have to go onto his property. It's one of those things like location matters. But if you were on the property, I would say as long as you can figure out and not dumb enough to sneak around the house, you could just ditch. If you get away in time, you can just bounce and never come back, and he would never. It's not like Freddy or Pennywise who would find a way to get to you. You're done. He would never come after you again.
Yeah, he's another one with revenge is definitely Chucky, so that's another strong point for him. But yeah, he's not one for revenge, and he's not too calculating or smart in general. He's possibly one of the dumber characters. He's also used as a pawn a lot, and he's more directed of what to do.
Also, he's the slowest on the list.
But I should note, you won't know to get off his property until you see him.
Whoa! But I think it's one of those things a lot of people, as soon as you see him, would get out, and you couldn't outrun dude. If we're being logical, you could outrun him if you, depending on who you are. I think that's a, because come on, once you see him, you're running. It's not a movie where you're gonna hide or something. You're running. You're getting out of there. He won't, because remember, he's human. A certain time, of a certain distance you go, someone would see him and someone would be like, what is this dude doing? And he will either go after them or you can get away.
I mean, but though he is pretty demented. I mean, he's wearing human skin on his face. A lot of these people aren't as demented as he is.
He's strong, but I think his weaknesses flaw him a lot. And him not being the leader, not being, the brains of it, kind of puts him down a little bit. I think highest I would say is a B. I would probably say C, honestly.
I'm kind of leaning towards more of a B, but if you want C, I guess.
Because Carrie is arguably one of the strongest on the list. It's your flaws that bring down, I think, Leatherface a lot. You know what I mean? Like, he's not gonna. It's easier to stop him, I would say.
I don't know, it's not too easy to stop him. We've seen so many people try to escape him and fail. He is pretty hard to escape.
I think the thing is, he's human at the end of the day, and I think human really puts you down a level. And also, if you're female, there's a chance he will befriend you.
This is getting weird.
But leave it at C. Next character. Ghostface.
At the end of the day, just a human, and usually not having strength advantages or any advantages.
Usually calculated though, usually smart. The brains of the operation is usually 2, so that makes it a bit harder if you're really being logical. But definitely like is on the same problem with Leatherface as they had to give him a big flaw and a big disadvantage as Leatherface is kind of bubbling like big, slow. He's so, Ghostface is so clumsy, so like buffoony, like falling down the stairs like a cartoon. His disadvantages are so wide, and also how would he go after you? Like if you know what I mean? Like if you're not the main person, he just kills you, right? But if you're the main person, he's gonna taunt you. And with the modern technology, you can probably track him. I think it would be much easier to catch him ahead of time.
Okay, even though this version of the character does not count, but if you watch the TV show, which yeah, again, I reiterating doesn't count, but it does show he can survive in a modern era. So I do have to at least point that out. I think he does have the advantage of he's one of well, actually, no, there's quite a few smarter people on this list, and there's multiple different versions who range in intelligence, but they're pretty calculated and they keep coming after you, which is partially because they do have the advantage of being multiple people.
Wait, yeah, that does point to the question: is if you defeat one, would someone keep going with the most? It doesn't. I think no. I think he kind of goes in the Norman Bates type of flaws. I really think he's kind of one of the easier to stop. Like I love Scream, obviously, but I think he's definitely a D. Just danger wise to you.
The one last advantage, though, he goes out in plain sight and gets away with it a lot. And he definitely is always watching you, so that does give him an advantage, but I guess at the end of the day, he is human beyond human out of any of these characters. Because at least, like, yeah, you can argue, well, Leatherface is human too, but at least Leatherface has strength advantage and stuff like that.
Yeah, he has an unhuman characteristic as Ghostface does not. I think D.
Clumsiness alone, he has to be a D.
Yeah, next character. Going into the same category, the baby from Happy Death Day. Remember, in this logic, the baby has never been conformed 100% to control the time of the movie. Usually, the baby kills you if you're in that direct, like if you're the one being revenged. So we have to think about it. Are we the ones the baby goes after, or are we just on the campsite? Because technically, every person in the campsite, I think, is alive. Besides the police officers, by the end of the movie, do have multiple backs and forths with the timeline.
Campsite? You mean campus?
You know what I mean. I honestly think, let's be honest, the baby's the least dangerous.
Once again, playing devil's advocate, the baby though, they kill the same person 100 times over or whatever it was. They have a pretty high success rate.
True, but that person had to be a little bit dumb. Like we're going by logic here, and I think a lot of people could figure it out. It all depends though. Like that if the time loop I think is an aspect into it or not. Because technically, I think the time aspect would put the baby at a disadvantage because it helps you survive. You know what I mean? It gives you multiple tries. But I don't think it should count into the baby actually. I think the baby should just go onto its own thing, and the baby really only kills one person. Besides for everyone around it, and kind of gets the one guy in the hospital. Not to spoil it, but he gets the one person in the hospital to do it. I won't say who the baby is, but I think the baby, because we're only judging by who the actual 100% baby is. I think the baby is an E tier.
The time is what gives the baby the advantage. I think outside of the school setting, the baby also massively becomes weaker since you can't walk around in that. They only have the advantage as if they point out in the movie because that is the mascot. No one questions it.
And also, Ghostface does this in bodily life. From what I remember of the movie, the baby is always in nighttime. Uses that as advantage. Parties, big groups, wouldn't really do that. We never seen the baby really stalking much because it doesn't focus on the baby as much. It really just the baby will come in, kill, leave. So we really don't know much about the disadvantages of said baby.
But we do have to say the person who is the baby, they did get a lot of pretty solid kills in on. So, but I do have to say, if Ghostface is D, I guess at most this person should be, isn't he? because they kind of all are fake ghost face at times.
We love Happy Death Day, at least the first one. The second one's But next character, the Tethered from Us.
A really good movie.
There's a lot of them. They are calculated. They've been shown to be strong even when they've been stabbed and stuff. They've been shown to be really goal oriented, and they've been shown even if you kill your doppelganger, the other ones will come to stop you. And also, we saw that they have taken out most of the world, at least in that area. We saw the whole line. That means they are probably one of the highest success rates of any character on this list.
You gotta also note that they're not just killing like a lot of these people. We can compare them towards the one person that they, or at least the group of people they go after. They're killing a lot of different people in a lot of different families. You can basically assume if there's one type of person, they probably had to run into them on their path to their goal.
Because it also doesn't equal. You're facing your equal, if not a little bit superior than yourself, you know. And then also, if you somehow defeat them, remember you're gonna have to fight. You know, say they took out John Cena, you're gonna have to fight Tether John Cena. They will stop you eventually.
God, my Tethered and me will have the lamest fight scene in the whole movie. I would have to say.
No, the Tether you is actually like would kill you. Like so, the Tether you is you're done. Me and you were done.
Oh man, I get the scissors.
Okay, so believe it or not, I think this should be an S tier. Believe it or not, I think it should be an S tier. I think it has the group advantage, kind of like the Xenomorphs and Killer Clowns, and the goals are like beyond, like they're stopping the entire world.
I do have to say, I was leaning towards more A tier because as we did count with the Xenomorphs and the Killer Clowns, we had to count in all of them, but they all very solid with their goals. So I mean, if you want to go with S tier, I guess I'm fine with that.
Only reason I say S tier is because it's basically, at least in America, size group that 100% is working together. Like, we've seen Xenomorphs not always work together. You know, like, there'll be one or two after you. Or the Killer Clowns will be like 2 or 3 after you. This is everyone. It's all or nothing. They're basically, they want to take over the world. You know, so, next character. Annabelle.
This one is a little different power for depending on who you ask, to be honest. There's a lot of different varying opinions on Annabelle over the years now.
Annabelle is one of those characters in the universe that's hyped to all hell, but hasn't done much to actually, in my mind, prove that it's as strong as its unstoppable demon. Though it is pretty strong, especially the third Annabelle movie. Though I feel like that's just a cop-out changing the powers. To me, Annabelle is strong, but the powers in the movie, The Conjuring is just trying to hype it up without delivering the package to prove that Annabelle is this unstoppable monster. Though I still think it should be at least a B tier, if not A.
This is another one that can hide in plain sight, and once you touch this doll, basically touch it, do whatever, interact with the doll will keep coming. You can throw it out, you can do whatever, the doll will keep coming back.
Not if you give it to someone else. That's been proven to work. I mean, those nurses did that pretty much. They gave it away.
But that only was successful because the doll got locked away. As you can see with Father Perez or whatever his name was, he got like his thing with Annabelle, and then Annabelle went back. You basically giving the doll to somebody else, you only side mission the doll until the doll gets back. The doll that's like the thing. The doll is just not going back to them because Annabelle is locked away.
So Annabelle 4 versus the nurses. Can't wait. It's just one of those things. There's a lot more hyped about the character than we've shown. It's not like Pennywise who we've shown all the range of power. There's a lot of this is the strongest ever. Can you believe it?
Annabelle also the doll demon. Annabelle the doll, the demon, the spirits, all over that. They do also take their time. Some of these things you can count like Freddy takes his time too, but Freddy would kill. There's a lot of instances of Freddy killing people just right off the bat. There's not really any instances of Annabelle killing someone right off the bat. They will injure somebody severely, But no, they take their sweet ass time.
Annabelle has been proven to want something 100%, but if you're not the mission, you're kind of safe. And I think, honestly, it's one of those things that I will have to say. Annabelle has never really, like, besides injuring, does not want a dude. Wants a female. And I think that should be counted in that Annabelle's at a strong disadvantage that it will only go and want to take over a female. That's half the population, pretty much. You gotta admit, I think it should be a B tier.
Okay, I'm agreeing with B tier, but you're only assuming that last part. I'm not taking that into consideration. But B
It
tier.
is Pride Month.
Okay, you're a dumbass. But Annabelle, I think is B tier. But if you call in the right people and tell you not even the right people, because that one family in the Annabelle creation, they even could lock it away with enough religious items, basically.
Also, you could, there's the age of YouTube, you could just pull up an exorcism video type of thing. And I think that's safe. I don't know. Let us know what you think in the comments below. We're gonna keep doing more and keep adding to the characters. Surprise us still as high as it is, but I've been Bowman.
I might have been the Raven.
Let us know some characters you also want. Maybe we'll get to them.
I definitely want to see an F tier.
Oh yeah, we have actually not gotten into an F tier. Please watch our other videos before you complain of why we picked each spot. But make sure you have a good night.
I wonder who the fourth F tier would be.
Me.